Welcome back. Stefan Kyriazis has made it into the studio after attending London's most expensive ever theatre show, Plaza Suite, a modern classic by the late, great Neil Simon. Stefan, a show that has tickets at getting on for £400
£395. You get
a great cast.
I mean, it's Sarah Jessica Parker, Matthew Broderick, so married couple. Mm-hmm. And obviously Hollywood stars, and then the whole Sex and the City sort of phenomenon, which is still going strong. And they're in a Neil Simon play from 1968. And I guess the gimmick with them doing it is they play three different couples, all going through relationship strife, which there's no signs of from our main couple. It's a comedy, a farce, a social commentary. I would walk you through it. The first setup is a couple, sort of middle-aged, and it's very interesting to see Sarah Jessica Parker, a little bit frumpy. We can see from the pictures, it's not the glamour girl that we're used to. And she's a wife. She's booked something for their wedding anniversary. She's got the day wrong and the year wrong, and she's flapping. But underneath it is all this melancholy because she knows, pretty sure, that she's losing her husband. So they dance around this. I have to say, for a very long time, it's by far the longest piece, and it just circles and circles, and she just gabbles and gabbles, and you can feel her nerves and her sadness, and he's pretty impassive to it, and he's doing the most cliched thing. He's strumming the secretary, and he's having his midlife crisis. So it's a very accurate portrait sometimes of things that happened, but it's very melancholy, and it's difficult when you've got a couple. Their chemistry is fantastic. But also that somewhat takes away the bite from some of these scenes because you can still kind of feel the affection. However, they both embrace the comedy. He's great at dialogue. What I would say that runs all the way through this, it's dated, especially in representations of women. So the women are pretty much always idiotic to a great extent. So the next scene that comes on, much more fabulous. He looks a bit like Austin Powers, very much like Austin Powers, and she's a kind of good time girl from the 60s, long blonde hair. They're old high school sweethearts. She's got a family in the suburbs. He's become a huge Hollywood big deal. And it's basically a sex farce from the kind of 60s. It's a pastiche on that. Again, huge fun. The character's quite idiotic. And again, she's basically cheating on her husband and children for laughs. So it's a tricky one in these days. And then the final one is probably the best fun. If you like, the first piece is kind of more straight-out comedy. It's pretty much Benny Hill by the time we get to the third one. Jewish couple trying to get their daughter Mimsy out of the bathroom on her wedding day. She won't come out. They're freaking out. He goes out on the balcony, out onto the window ledge. Pigeons attack. There's storms. Tons of energy. So much fun. And they do it so well. And yet, when Mimsy comes out and explains why she's nervous on her wedding day, it's a critique on her parents' marriage. And these are two people that are really just trying to love and support their daughter. It feels all the way through that Simon himself, however great a writer he is, he doesn't like relationships. He doesn't like conventional people. There's quite a lot of disdain in it. And he really doesn't like women. So
Are the two performances by people that we're familiar with through television and film, are the two performances by these two people on stage worth top dollar?
They are excellent, and they disappear pretty much into the characters. So if you want to see them, next price down is $360, then $300, then something. They do a ticket lottery. So every week, if you put in by email, there are cheaper £10 tickets. So you can put in for that. But I came out of it thinking, she was excellent. I'd like to see her in something that really uses her stage talent. We know Broderick is a great stage actor.
It is, by the way, her West End debut.
Yes.
Take us on to your next item, please.
This is wonderful. This is a great event that's happening this Wednesday at Sadler's Wells. It's an event called Empower in Motion. It's for the charity Children Today, 30th anniversary. And it's ballet superstars and disabled people dancing together. And it's all in support of the charity. And we've got a gorgeous clip so you can see what it's all about.
I think it's interesting how sometimes your biggest setbacks can also be your greatest strength.
beautiful trailer. You were clearly very invested in this.
I am. I've been talking to some of the people from the show. So you'll see Denicia there, the girl in the wheelchair, and she's dancing with Alice Bellini, who's the first soloist from the English National Ballet. Their piece is called Reunion, and I spoke to both of them about how important it is. Denicia's been living with cerebral palsy. She's limited to a wheelchair, and talking to... You can see the joy from her there. She's a gorgeous delight to talk to. But she says when she dances, she feels like she's on a cloud. She feels like she's in another universe, but she also feels like she can be herself. And that's a beautiful, important thing. And she's part of a charity that's called I Can Dance, which is under the umbrella of this. And they do therapeutic care for disabled families and children. And then Joe, the boy you saw in the wheelchair there, was a Royal Ballet dancer till he was 14 and then had an accident and is now, again, in disabled. He needs a chair and crutches. But it's a hugely important thing. It's gorgeous. Please, 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 people check it out. It's at Sadler's Wells this Wednesday.
You've got a trailer for another show. Shall we go straight into seeing that trailer?
Good old King and I.
So this was based on a true story about a woman who went out to be a teacher in Siam, as Thailand used to be called, at the end of the 19th century, and developed a relationship, I mean, not a sexual one, but a relationship with the king. It's called The King and I, and it raises the question, really, of whether we are digging up stereotypes from the late 19th century.
Yes, to some extent, but also, you know, we also have stereotypes of the kind of colonial types, and the ones that come in from the British government and the trading companies are all terribly sort of stiff upper lip and moustaches and pompous. And even Anna herself is still very much a product of her world, and her little boy is terribly proper mummy all the time. So, yes, however, obviously the racial stereotypes, they're handled lightly here, and it is very much, you realise, a show where the women are driving the story. There's also the king's first wife, who is really brought up in this production, and she's fantastic. So, yes, I mean, it looks grand. It's like a barge itself. It kind of sails. It's very stately. My God, the music is just... Come on, this music. Apart from Shall We Dance and Whistle a Happy Tune, you've also got things like We Kiss in the Shadow and Hello, Young Lovers. It's exquisite. So, yes, with caveats, it's a nostalgic night out. Just be aware.
Nostalgic night out where?
This one is on at the Dominion, and we should say Plaza Suite is on at the Savoy Theatre.
Very good. Well, thank you very much indeed, Stefan Kyriazis.